Hello and welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty, and as always, I have with me Mike B.
What it do? What it do? What it do?
Well, at least you didn't sound like Yogi this time.
That it's not my goal to not sound like that. I just go where my mind takes me. What's going on with you?
Not much. What's going on with you? Anything special happened over the last couple of weeks?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Wow.
Well, I don't get out the house. Well, I get out the house more than you, though, so.
Well, that's true. I get up and go to the gym every morning.
Oh, well.
But it's like 4-5 blocks away.
Y'all still having that issue with the kids, the school kids in the street?
That little girl gonna die? Yes.
Are you? I feel like now you're plotting to kill this girl.
I'm not. I'm trying to stay away from her.
You sound dangerous. That little girl gonna die.
No, I'm trying to stay away from her. I try to leave either earlier than they come out or later, or either just go a whole nother different route. And especially if it rains, I don't even go that way. Because somebody going to hit her and I don't want to have no parts of it.
You don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to testify about it. I don't want to have no parts of it.
When's the last time you testified?
I testify every day to the Lord, but I don't want to be on nobody's witness list. Nobody, because I didn't call. I did my part. I called. I actually physically made it a point to pick up a phone and call. And it wasn't the easiest call to make because they kept transferring me.
Who did you call? The school district, right?
I started with the police. The police told me to call the school district. I went to the school district. The school district sent me to the school. The school sent me to the Department of Transportation. So, I mean, it just kept going around and around.
Yeah.
So I called. I think I did my civic duty.
You tried, yeah. That's all we asked for.
Now, when that little girl come flying down the street, y'all can't say, hey, that lady on the corner didn't try.
At some point, you can't keep, I guess, waiting on other people to tell you the right thing to do. Sometimes you got what they say, a hard head make a soft butt.
A hard head make a soft body, too.
Hey. She might learn the hard way.
I hate to see it, but it is what it is. Them two little kids that was choking each other out that day, I don't see them doing that no more.
Oh, you think they learned their lesson?
I don't know.
Somebody talked to them? Well, kids don't fight every day.
Well, either that or they figure that lady might come back down and tell us to quit again. We better stop. Let's not do it around the time she ride down the street.
Right on.
I don't know. I must be, think they think of me as the crazy lady.
I can believe that.
In the neighborhood. Hey, you're gonna lady
sooner or later you're gonna start collecting your cats. I know you like your dog right now. But you got cats in your future. I
got cats in my yard. I ain't collecting them.
No, they waiting on they invite to come on inside.
I want to get a BB gun. Pop.
In the room. That's what you're gonna tell them.
No, not ever. Now you might see me with more than one dog, but you'll never see me with one cat. My little sister had a cat when I let her live with me. And she, of course, didn't take care of her cat.
Your sister is not really good with pets, period. Are we talking about the same sister?
The one
whose dog that became yours?
Yeah. Well, she got a dog and 2 rabbits now and 2 little boys.
Whose idea to have a rabbit?
I don't know. And my nephew, the youngest one, the 3-year-old, is taking the rabbit and throwing him over the stairs.
Okay.
And, she had to catch the rabbit. And she's like, hey, stop. What are you doing? He just throw toys over the steps. Why can't the rabbit go over the steps?
Oh, you're not supposed to do that.
No.
Well, they got all that fur, so you never know what they can take. The fur is there so that they bounce.
No. But yeah, anyway, she had a cat. And so she never took care of the cat. So I fed the cat. I changed the cat's litter and all this. And I'm thinking, I didn't want this stupid cat. I don't like cats.
Don't tell me you poisoned the cat.
No. I come home one day and I'm like, hey, kitty. That cat jumped out and pounced on me. That was the end of it. I called her. I said, come get this cat right now and get him out of my house.
Did you have like a different hairstyle? Somehow you shocked the cat.
No, the cat was playing. She said,
you just been eating some tuna fish?
No. He said, he just playing. You can't play with me in my house like that. I'm feeding you too.
Well, they don't know no better.
Yes, they do.
Oh.
He learned fast.
He gonna learn today.
House. Anyway.
Right on.
So I want to share this with the world here. So y'all, when you come over to Mike B's place, you never know what you're going to get.
So this is a story about me.
Oh, yes. Remember I said you was going to be punished. Anyway, so
Well, don't forget, I edit the show, so this may, depending on what you're about to say.
So I come over today. Now, I mean, you come over and Mike B, he offer you anything. He'll offer you food to eat, what he got to eat. He offer you what he got to drink. And then he just start offering you random stuff. Like you come over one day, you want some frozen peas. Who wants frozen peas?
But I don't have any.
Oh, no, not now.
Okay.
But when you offered them, you had some. I guess you didn't want them. So you offering to somebody else. Or he'll say, you want a cat? And you're like, huh? It's a cat standing outside randomly. You want it? You can take it.
You bougie because I stay in an apartment complex, and a lot of times when people are moving, they put stuff out on the side of the dumpster for people to get if they want, like a couch, refrigerators, air conditioners, student desk.
I got a little car.
All of this stuff.
Hey, you want a couch? Really?
If you want the couch, you'll figure a way.
See, my point exactly. See, so he just offers you random stuff. Well, today I come in here and he says, you want this box? This is a box. Now, granted, after I looked at the box, I was like, that might make a nice puzzle board. But I'm looking,
yeah.
And as I go around, turn around, I look up, and on his walls, he got pictures. Now, Mike B don't never have pictures on his wall, but now he got pictures up on the wall, and I'm like, oh, you done grew up. Put some pictures on your wall. It's this picture of these random black people. He won't tell me who they is.
I told you who they were.
He just got some random black people on his wall.
Yeah, they're random black people.
From the 1940s.
What is your problem with these people on the wall?
I just want to know who these random people are.
They are random people from the internet. I went to Amazon. I said black people. And then that poster showed up. I said, they look cool as hell. I ordered it. And now they hanging.
That ain't hanging on this wall.
They hanging on my wall. They ain't bothering nobody.
So if you ever visit Mike B's house,
no, they
come with a truck. Because he liable to give you anything.
Just go invite people to my house.
I said, if you ever come.
Oh, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. If you ever come to Mike B place,
bring a truck. Anyway,
they'll leave with some goodies though.
Yeah, that's what
I still
I'm
got
saying.
a couple lighters I can give away. Well, I'm selling my lighters. How
much you selling lighters for?
I think I'm going down to 50 cents. I was selling them for $1, but I feel like 50 cents might be. You want to buy one?
No, thank you. I don't smoke.
No, you ain't got to smoke, but women like that little eyebrow thing with the lighter.
I don't wear makeup.
But one of these days, the Lord may put it on your heart.
To wear makeup?
Or something.
I'll wear makeup very, very, very rarely. And if that's the case, I got a lighter at home. It's the one I light my stove with.
Oh, you got an old school stove? What
one
you mean?
Of them low on lighters. Well, no. Sometimes that pilot light go out.
Yeah, no. Oh, well, I guess I don't have a gas stove. Mine's is electric.
Well, yeah. Sometimes the pilot light goes out. You got to light the pilot light.
You ain't scared you're going to blow up?
No.
You don't seem like a pilot light lighter.
If you go out, I got to light it.
I'm surprised you don't call somebody to come over.
No, to light a pilot light? No,
Yeah.
that's just stupid. Now, I ain't going down up under in that crawl space to change that filter on that hot water heater. Nope.
Because you're scared what's down there.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's where that's where your cats are.
Wait a minute. I put out Halloween stuff every year.
Yeah.
My neighbor texted me a couple of days ago, and she asked me, she says, "Are you feeling okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why? Do I not look like I'm feeling okay? What's going on?" She said, "You don't have your Halloween stuff out." I told her, I said, "Look, I'm going to be honest. I said, part of me is not feeling it this year, but for real, the reason I haven't put it out is because the day I was going to go do it, that's when I woke up and turned on or looked over at my cameras. It was spiders all over my yard. So if it's spiders all over my yard, it's spiders all the way back in that corner in the garage. I ain't going in there and messing with them spiders. They can have that Halloween stuff this year."
That's the reason?
That's the reason.
You're scared.
I'll put my Christmas stuff out because them spiders be dead by then.
But you can light a pilot light, but you can't kill a spider.
I can't mess with a spider. You doggone skip it.
The pilot light, you can die.
Not if you pay attention to what you're doing. Yeah, if you turn on the gas, walk away, jog around the corner, and then come back and decide to light the light, yeah.
You get a woof.
But if you just turn on the gas and light the lighter right then and there, poof, it's done.
Right on. I don't know if I can do it.
Have you ever started a grill?
Yeah. It's
the
it's
same
different.
Thing. No, it's not. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you stand back. You pour all the lighter fluid you want to. And then you stand
not
back.
all the lighter fluid you want to.
Oh, it ain't no limit.
See, now that's why. That's where you gonna die. It's a limit.
As long you got to soak the coals pretty good because you want a fire. Like Eddie Murphy said, now that's a fire. That's what you want.
He lives in an apartment building. People downstairs, please move.
I remember one time when I had my old roommate, we used to grill on the patio because at that time it wasn't, I guess, illegal. And we had it smoking. And I live across the street from a fire department.
Did they come over?
Not the fire department, but the police were rolling by. And it's also a gated community, so they can't just come in. But they pulled up, seen all that smoke. They said, hey, do y'all need us to call the fire department? And we sitting there just chilling with drinks and everything. Like, no, we cool. But that very next year, we got a note on the door like, ain't no grilling on the patio anymore. You got to take your grill to the pool if you want to grill.
So it's y'all's fault. You
Probably.
can't grill on the patio.
I mean, we had it smoking. I knew that food was gonna be good. Oh man.
Yeah. Anyway, well, no, it's pretty much the same. Actually, it's a little more dangerous to light a fire like that than it is inside.
Oh, what I'm doing is more dangerous, you think?
Yeah, especially because you soaking them coals. Yes, it's a lot more dangerous. But unless you got a gas leak and you can smell a gas leak, they put sulfur in the gas to make it stink, so people know that they got a gas leak.
That reminds me of when I was little and my mom was still alive. She had this boyfriend, and that's when this drink called Cisco had just come out. It's an alcoholic beverage. I know you don't drink novelty, but it's an alcoholic beverage and it's very, very strong from what I hear. And people used to trip out on it. And he, brought something over, got the meat on the grill and whatever, starts drinking a little bit and got so messed up that he started pouring lighter fluid on the meat.
I guess y'all didn't eat that day.
No, we didn't eat. He ate it. But, my mom wouldn't let me. And she told him she had made him leave.
Oh, I don't blame her.
But no, that's wrong because he was messed up enough to pour lighter fluid on the meat. He probably didn't need to be driving. But I didn't know
he drove too.
Yeah, I ain't know nothing about drinking and driving.
Well, she might not have either back then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Drinking and driving, I don't want to say it's a new thing, but
you make it sound like it.
Well, being arrested and all that, and
the laws against it are probably different.
Yeah, the laws are different now. So back then, come on, we were rolling in the back of the trucks with no seatbelt.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
In the bed of the trucks. My daddy used to fight. There's this one hill here that's real steep. My daddy would go down that hill, and the streets before were kind of bumpy. So it was kind of like a roller coaster.
Yeah, y'all flying up in there. Yeah, we used to do the same thing.
And we screaming and hollering, which that's probably why I'm afraid of roller coasters now. I blame my daddy because I'm surprised we ain't dead.
Yeah, probably are. You just don't know it.
Is this happening? I must have been. I was sent to hell. I got Trump. Oh my God.
Is this happening? Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, so you got a bay?
This week for Black Achievement and Excellence, we got 16-year-old Sydney Dion Bennett, who made history last month by becoming the first. Here we go again with these first. 2017, still having them. The first black girl to be crowned Miss Illinois Teen USA in the competition's 34-year history. Woo! 34 years they've been having this competition. The first black. Now, not to say that they haven't had any minority winners, but this is the first black still doing this. The first. Are you shocked yet that we're still going through first?
I'll never be shocked.
Well, congratulations to Miss Sydney. I do have a couple honorary mentions. Okay. One being Chance the Rapper, who has partnered with Lyft, I guess the alternative to Uber, the car company or whatever. But it says Chicago riders that use Lyft can now have the option of rounding up their fare to the nearest dollar, and the difference will be donated to Chance's program, New Chance Art Literature Fund.
Oh, and, that's nice.
He was saying, through the New Chance Arts and Literature Fund, I'm committed to giving the kids in Chicago as much as I can, and now we can give them much more. The more we ride, the more we raise to bring more arts to programs in Chicago public school system.
Good,
he's still out there trying to do
out of schools.
Yes, still trying to help out the Chicago public school system. A second honorary mention is going to be Michael Jordan, who's donating $7 million to open medical clinics in poor areas of Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right.
It's like, shout out to people who are still out here doing big and
and doing the right
impressive things for our people. And just for people. Because it ain't just black folks in Chicago public schools, I'm assuming. So shout out to Chance, shout out to Sydney, and also shout out to Michael Jordan.
Okay, so Let's talk brass tacks.
A tax on brass, or
No,
that's like
I don't really know what the saying means. Anyway, it's just something.
What made you think of that?
I don't know, because taxes.
Okay, so are we talking about tax?
But we ain't talking about taxes. Not yet.
Okay.
What we going to talk about, though, is Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta has stepped up. Now, I guess maybe about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months now, Kansas City changed the penalties on being stopped with marijuana, certain amounts of marijuana, to where it's under $25 instead of what the fines were prior to, which was in the hundreds of dollars, 500s and up. Well, Kansas City changed that and eliminated the jail time that you could go to jail for it. So they made some changes there. Atlanta just stepped up and did the same thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Both cities say weed is still illegal because, of course, that's a federal law. They can't take that away. But if you get stopped by one of our cops, we're not going to put you in jail. We're not going to fine you more than $25.
Oh, is that, don't they call it like decriminalization or something like that? Okay, yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And then also, just like Kansas City did a couple of months ago, Atlanta has raised their minimum wage to $15 an hour. Now, I don't know if the state of Georgia has the same issue that the state of Missouri does, because although Kansas City raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour, the voters voted for that, just like they did in Georgia. In the state of Missouri, it is illegal for the city to have a higher minimum wage than the state. So in the state of Missouri's minimum wage is like $7-something an hour.
I saw St. Louis drop their minimum wage to match to match the state, because they were at 15 or maybe 11 something, but they dropped it to. Remember that was controversial a couple months ago.
And it has everything to do with this state situation. So. That's just one of those things. It's going to be interesting to see how Kansas City tries to go past it and fix it, because the people have voted.
Yeah, because if the city can't outweigh the state, then what's the point of even having a vote in the city on the city level?
Right, and then you're taking away city rights as well. So those are the things that the city is talking about, having to fight the state. So now the city has to go to court with the state to figure out how they can pull this off.
Maybe try to find a happy medium.
I don't know when. I got some words to say and they ain't nice. So, like my mama said, you ain't got nothing nice to say. Don't say it at all.
And you were telling me today about your city,
yes,
and the fact that they trying to meet the budget or whatever and got rid of
they
police.
Cut half the police.
that don't even make sense.
The guy says, this is the thing. I went to a town hall. Now,
this makes total sense.
In the city of Kansas City. That's just where I've always voted, because that's where my business is. And that's where my property is. It's in Kansas City. So that's where I vote. But in my city, the city I live in, I went to one of their town halls, and I'm, of course, talking mad crap because I can't elect none of these people unless I change.
They let you talk?
No, well, they were supposed to. See, this is the first thing. It's a town hall. You're supposed to be able to come in and you were supposed to ask questions. You were supposed to be able to air your grievance and say what you needed to say. Well, what they did is they made you write your questions down on cards, and they answered the questions they wanted to answer.
So they didn't answer the hard ones or the challenging ones. They answered the ones that they had prepared statements for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then they give us this budget, and the city has no revenue. Nothing coming in at all. They've got a lot of stuff they paying for, but no revenue. The city doesn't own its traffic lights. The city rents those from Kansas City. The city gets their water from Kansas City. Everything this city has, it gets from somebody else. So it's paying a rent for it.
You would think it would just become Kansas City Light or something. Just become a part of Kansas City.
Right. But it's not. It's a whole nother city.
Right.
And so they have no actual revenue. Well, there are not a bunch of businesses in this city. This is a small city. So yeah, we got a Walmart. We got a whole bunch of fast food restaurants, but nothing major.
Right.
Well, prior to the city actually, prior to this meeting, the city hadn't raised taxes in 40 years.
Really?
That's a good reason to move to a city, right?
Yeah. You ain't got to worry about your taxes.
They don't
changing.
they just didn't raise taxes. They didn't want to raise taxes on the people. So taxes haven't been raised. No revenues coming in. It's not like there's some entertainment place that's bringing in
a lot of revenue,
any kind of
profits.
Well, profits for the city.
Right.
So the only thing they get their money off of for real is property taxes, and they're not raising them. So they're not making money. Now they want to say after 40 years, oh, we're going to balance the budget. We're going to balance it right now. And the first thing we're going to do is cut the police force. And so people are mad now.
Yeah.
Now, I live in a very
Your neighborhood is pretty
area.
quiet.
Well, it's my neighborhood. My neighborhood is quiet, but I've noticed my city is starting to have a little bit of crime going on.
Especially around that Walmart.
Yes. And I live in an area where I don't live in a black neighborhood. I don't live in a white neighborhood. It's everybody. You can find every and anybody in my area.
Right.
So I go to this town hall, and of course, it's just white people at the town hall and a few stray blacks because, we
can't be bothered. Yeah.
So I go and
that needs to change.
That has to change. So I go and I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and about halfway through, I'm like, okay, who this man in the corner? Who this man in the corner? And so the lady said, that's Alderman so-and-so. And I'm like, I ain't voting for him. And I was with my best friend. She lives in the same city. And she was like, yeah, but don't vote over here anyway. You wouldn't go vote for him no way.
Why did you know? I mean, what was he saying that you had issue with?
The thing is, the city blames everybody else. These people are blaming everybody else for this problem, which in actuality, yeah, they didn't cause the problem. They just got voted in. They might be here 2 or 3 years and that's it. So it's not like they had been here forever and a day. So yeah, they may not have caused the problem, but guess what? It's your job to fix it.
Right.
And you can't just continue to blame people for 40 years. So
they can't 45 us.
Yeah,
continue to blame.
So it's like, okay, so instead, why don't y'all, he's like, what y'all want us to do? Raise taxes? This little white man in the back says, hell yeah, rather you raise my taxes than take away the cops. And so then he decides,
that makes sense.
He decides he wants to say, well, this is like your house. This is like your house. If you can't pay the bills, it's not enough money coming in. What do you do? I said, the last thing I do is open my windows and say, come on in. I secure my home. I said, I might cut back and start eating beans and lentils.
Yeah.
But I do not cut back on security for my home. So they don't have the sense God gave a goose. So now my neighbor went out of town. She called me, I'm going out of town. Please watch my house. I'm so scared. She's hot. But these people are scared now because we don't know what's getting ready to happen.
Right.
I'm just letting you know, I got cameras all around my house and a gun. You mess with me if you want to.
So now you got to be your own police.
Yes. And that's the sad thing. You don't have a choice.
Right.
So what it's going to take in order to get them to fix it is somebody dying. And that's the sad thing about it. And that's the same thing with the taxes. Trump was talking about, we're going to cut taxes, cut taxes, cut taxes. His true tax plan has a whole bunch of cuts for the rich. It's no guarantees for the middle class or the poor.
Right.
But he's telling, he's feeding this whole cut taxes thing. Understand what your taxes pay for. Your taxes pay for your police. Your taxes pay for your fire people. Your taxes pay for your roads. When you start cutting taxes too deep, you really messing yourself up in the end.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if you tax me as long as the money goes to the police department, as long as the money goes to the roads, as long as the money goes to cutting my utilities down and making sure that I have a safe place to live and roads and to get back and forth on. I don't mind when my money goes to that stuff and you tax me. But when you tell me you taxing me $5,000 for a hammer, and I know good well that hammer costs $5, I want to know where the other 90% of my money went.
Right.
So these are the things that I question. But anyway.
Right on.
So, but the city of Kansas City did something this past Columbus Day, which I'm really proud of them for doing, and I really wish a lot of other cities would go to. They declare Columbus Day now. Instead of Columbus Day, it is National Indigenous Peoples Day.
I thought I was seeing other cities are starting to do that as well. Yeah.
Yes. We need to see a lot more cities. I'd like to see the city of Kansas City, Kansas, and the city of Wichita and Topeka, especially Topeka. Especially in Kansas, because so many other cities in Kansas are named after indigenous people.
Right.
So, that's just the way to go. Anyway, moving on across the water, Puerto Rico.
Puerto
Rico is still, the majority of the country is still without without power. And now they are pumping toxic water into their water supply for them to drink.
It's like you're basically trying to kill off these people. That's what it feels. That's what it seems like. And it's utterly ridiculous that the response, to me, it feels worse than Hurricane Katrina. Because at least with Hurricane Katrina, even though now they didn't have as many people lose their lives, but with Hurricane Katrina, we were there. We had people in the U.S. that could at least go and try to help. It turned out to be a disaster.
To me, it's worse than Hurricane Katrina for one simple fact. Bush could deny racism with Hurricane Katrina. He could say, well, we didn't know, well, we messed up. Well, blame could be thrown around that it wasn't really a racial issue. No matter what we believe, blame could be thrown off on something else.
Even though we don't believe that. We know race played a part.
Right, and I agree that, but blame could still be thrown somewhere. But here in this situation, we were immediately there for Harvey. We were immediately there for Florida, and this is what we did to Puerto Rico. It looks like, it really looks terrible.
Well, what makes it look the worst is the fact that the president continues to basically blame them for what's going on, this natural disaster. Yeah.
And he said, we can't be there forever. What do you mean we can't be there forever? These are Americans. Yeah. So the federal government in which they pay taxes to can't be there forever? What to help them out? What do you mean?
Not even trying. He's not even trying to hide the way he feels about these people.
So it looks really bad. And I don't know if just he's such a pain in the butt that I'm starting to like Bush now, that makes me feel like I'm on Bush's side with Katrina or what. But I can see, with Katrina, it might not have had nothing to do with him. It might not have been as bad.
With Puerto Bush, Rico, you saw it was like ignorance, but it wasn't ignorance on top of almost like hatred for other people.
Trump's is more malicious.
Yes, I didn't feel that. At least maybe I was too young, but I didn't feel that with Katrina.
So
from the president, even though I agree with Kanye when he said Bush don't like black people.
Oh yeah, I don't know, because he liked Michelle Obama.
Oh, he's fascinated with her.
So maybe he didn't used to like black people until he met the Obamas.
Possibly.
Now he's made some friends with black people. Sometimes they don't like us, and then they meet us and make friends.
Because they don't know us, and all they see is what's on TV, the saggy pants and the dreadlocks, which I have, not the saggy pants, and so they just put us in a box.
Automatically assume. So maybe he met some black people, was like, okay, y'all not so bad. But this orange fella, he know black people, he know Puerto Rican people, and his whole Puerto Rico. They need to kick him where it counts. So moving on back over to the other side of the country, Las Vegas. The police have changed the story now 3 times, the timeline. Now 3 times. This time they did it because MGM did their own little research, and they found that
is Mandalay Bay a part of MGM?
Mandalay Bay
property?
Is owned by MGM.
Really?
And they were starting to say they were saying it was 6 minutes in between, and had MGM contact or Mandalay Bay contacted the police, they could have stopped the shooting. And so, they not getting ready. You're not getting ready to throw that on us and have 500 people trying to sue us. This ain't getting ready to happen.
Or hurt our bottom line, but people stop visiting or using our properties.
So they went in, did their own stuff, their own digging and stuff, and came up with a different timeline. And their timeline is they called immediately. And so then the police come out and they change their story. So something's going on with Las Vegas. The FBI already said the Las Vegas Police Department, they don't trust them. So something is going on. I don't know if it was in the heat of the moment and everything just got to moving, that somebody dropped the ball on watching the timeline or what. I don't know how, but the timeline has been changed now 3 times.
And regarding the FBI, are we still dealing with like an interim FBI director? Comey still hasn't officially been replaced?
Oh, Comey got replaced with
is it like
he's been replaced?
And it's official?
I can't remember the guy. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, but Comey has been replaced. But the guy, the FBI director, I guess they got a lot of other cases that we just don't hear about, because the only one we really concerned with right now is Mueller's investigation.
Yeah, Russia.
So, but yeah, it is an actual FBI director now. I had to get his name and We'll post it.
Will we? You talk about me?
Okay, yes.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Anywho, moving on over to Los Angeles.
California?
Or not Los Angeles, yes, California.
The wildfires?
Santa Rosa is what in God's name is going on? They are just burning. They are not stopping. And
then, we always hear about like drought situations on the West Coast, especially California, and they have to deal with wildfires. What do they do in cases like that? Where do they get the water from to try and combat this situation?
I know they trying to hit it from the ground. They trying to hit it from the air, and everything they're doing is just not stopping. Those winds are picking up and blowing that air and making just a perfect environment for those fires to feed. And so now they even said now they're not even trying to stop the fires. They're just trying to save as many houses as they can and get people out.
How are they saving the houses?
Some houses they're watering down the house before the fire hits, so when the fire comes through and passes, it can't catch the house on fire.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean that's what they're doing. They're trying to save like their downtowns. Wine getting ready to be high as I get out because this is wine country.
Right.
That's just burning like crazy. Now, one place said that, they lost their entire building, their entire facility, but the grapes weren't touched.
That's interesting.
I'm like, okay, well, Jesus did like wine. So, hey, but it makes me think about Revelations and how, they say the second time the world is going to end in fire. And I'm just like, okay, is this coming?
It? Yeah, is it starting? Yeah.
So I'm like, we got fire on this side and the devil in the White House. What's going on right now?
And then all these hurricanes in the South.
Right, and then you got little man over at little stupid guy that want to fight everybody who he got a short complex.
Who?
The North Korea guy.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I thought you were still talking about 45.
Well, him too. He got the complex too.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. So what are we living in the middle of?
This seems like chaos.
It really is. It's chaos.
Every day it's something. And if it's not a natural disaster or a natural situation, it's man-made. And it's chaos coming from the White House. I never thought I'd see the day where all this chaos is coming from the president.
The only thing
he's the one keeping up shit. The only talking shit to people.
Keeping up is the natural disasters, but he's removing everything that's supposed to stop them. Everything that's supposed to not stop them, but keep them from getting worse.
Yeah, as far as like climate change and like EPA regulations, that doesn't even like. What's the thought process?
My thing
behind
is, Lord, if you trying to end the chaos, please don't kill us all. Just go after the man in that house. He live in 1600 Pennsylvania. You might find him down in Florida at Mar-a-Lago or on a golf course.
Yeah.
Please go after him. Don't go after us.
It's sad.
So NFL tomorrow, Sunday games. We're going to see who's protesting, who's not. But at this point, some of the players are threatening to quit if the NFL attempts to force them to stand for the anthem. And I'm with them. They need to quit. No. I take that back.
I feel like they just need to, if they basically stand together, then I feel like things will change.
Here's the thing. No. Well, yeah, you're
But the guy who said he was going to quit, he was like, he didn't mean to send that tweet. I'm like, how do you not mean to send a tweet that you put on Twitter?
He meant it, and then somebody said money. Yeah. But here's my thing. Don't quit. Let them fire you.
Yeah.
Okay? And then take them to court for violating your civil rights. Because they cannot make you do that. You have freedom of speech, and that is a guarantee through the Constitution of the United States. So take them to court. That's number one. Number two, like you said, they all have to do it. Everybody needs to kneel. If all the black players either kneel or just say, okay, you ain't going to let us kneel, we going to boycott, NFL ain't going to be too cool to watch no more.
Well, and what's weird, we saw, I don't, of course, I don't watch it anymore. And I don't even like talking about it. But it was weird that today we saw photos of this German soccer team, I believe. The players, the coaches, the owners, they all kneeled during the national anthem in solidarity with the NFL players that are protesting against discrimination. And they put out a statement.
Can't.
No, because they're all concerned about money. And they still are trying to paint it as a protest against the flag and a protest against the national anthem versus a protest against police brutality and injustice.
Before I go to that, we need to start uniting. We have got to start uniting, period.
Yeah.
Black people have got to unite. If we want change, we are going to have to come together, and we are going to have to
Why do you think we have an issue with that?
That's something that was fed. I'm going to get into that. Give me 1 second. Let me get this out. So they need to kneel. They need to kneel together. If they ain't getting ready to fire all of them. If they do fire all of them, they need to sue. And then the other thing is Diddy is talking about creating his own league. That right there is where we need to go.
I bet you a conversation would start at that moment.
If they all kneel, it was like right now. Diddy saying, you know what, this has got to stop. We need to create our own league. I'm ready to do it. And he's here. So now you got Diddy. If you got Oprah come out saying, you know what, I'm in. You got Magic Johnson. You got Michael Jordan. If these guys all come together, say forget NBA, forget NFL. Let's move and create our own leagues. I bet you this mess will stop.
The Negro League coming back.
Oh yeah. In full force. Beyonce, Jay-Z. I mean, because that's where the money is. Let them come in. But the main thing is, our entire history in this country has been changed. Trump has successfully gone in and changed our narrative. We have got to stop allowing them to change the narrative. We have got to stop allowing them to change our history. We came over here on a boat. We were grabbed from our homes. We were thrown in the bows of the boat, forced to live in our feces for 100 days while we floated over here, only to be held in captivity, beaten like crazy, forced to work, and raped and killed. Okay? This is what has happened to our people. And over that time, if you've ever watched Roots, they have this huge scene where they are forcing Kunta Kinte to give up his name and accept that he is Toby. And that's how all of this happened. They forced us to give up who we were and accept who they wanted us to be. So we don't come together because they instilled in us hatred for one another. They instilled in us this light skin versus black skin thing. They put this separation in there, and that is how they thrive. And the fact that we, after all of these years, cannot sit up and overcome that is a problem. We have got to learn how to be stronger. We must be a stronger people at this point. We talk about, I'm not going back to slavery. We're enslaved in the
mentality,
mind.
yeah.
And we can't get over that. They have changed our narrative. We were kings and queens. And I mean, not all of us. Some of us was just regular old folk, just like everybody else. But we came from a country rich in gems and
just resources.
Yeah. And they grabbed us, they took us, they told us we weren't nothing. They made us give up our heritage. They made us give up our language. They made us give up our gods, our higher power. Everything they took from us, and we are still allowing them to take. So to sit up and say they have successfully changed the narrative, it is time to move on. No. They have changed the narrative. We need to make sure we change it back. Otherwise, it will only, as history is told, it'll be, black people kneel because they was against the flag instead of what it was about. Just like they say that black people came over here for better jobs.
Yeah, immigrated,
And they say that the Black Panthers was just a rogue group and they wasn't trying to do nothing but overthrow the government. Just like they said all the things they said Malcolm X was and all the things they tried to say Martin Luther King was. We have got to stop allowing them to write our history, and we must write our own, and we must make sure white people across this country know our history. I'm done. I'm getting off my soapbox now.
I can't agree more.
So, moving from the NFL to the NCAA. Now look, So these coaches and Adidas done got in trouble with the FBI because they done found evidence that they paying kids $100,000 to go to certain schools and to sign contracts saying, they'll sign up on with Adidas once they turn pro.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but I feel like I don't have an issue, me personally, with players getting paid because they're exploited just like regular NBA players. They go through the same trouble, drama. NCAA brings in a lot of money off the backs of these young men. I don't have an issue with it. Half of them can't feed their families. They still staying at home with their moms and dads.
I want the rules changed. College players need to be paid. They need to go on and market them just like they market NBA, NFL, because here's the thing. It's not so much, they claim, they are being paid. They're getting an education, but they can't even focus on their education because they got to focus on that sport. And if they don't focus on that sport and they lose their scholarship from that sport, then they can't pay for the education they're supposed to have anyway.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, what happens if they get hurt and they get a career-ending injury and now they can never go pro? They don't have nothing. And they lose their scholarship because they can't play no more.
Right.
So these kids need to be able to get paid. Everybody in college ball makes money except the player. That makes no sense. The coach
and people
gets
are watching
paid,
for the players.
Schools get paid. They gamble on these games. Everybody gets paid except the player. Pay these kids.
I agree with you.
Pay these kids. Pay them to go. Let the school provide the free education and pay them to play. If I had a kid, my kid would be mad at me because they wouldn't be playing no ball. I'd tell them, no, not until they pay you. They need to come up off some green. Right. I've been one of them mamas
because
getting my 100,000.
You're playing and you're still getting wear and tear on your body.
Right.
So
and that don't stop. It's funny because what's his name? Michael Strahan. He talks about all the injuries and he, the CTE that's going on. Talking about. He's like, I got hits from that.
Aaron Hernandez, I think it was. They examined his brain.
Was real bad.
They had a real severe case.
So they getting hurt, they getting injured, and then you don't want to pay them. And y'all don't even. I mean, don't even provide health care for them. At the least provide health care, but no, pay these kids to play.
And, just for a brief second, going back to the whole protest and how they're trying to paint the narrative that people are against the military, they're against the flag, they're against the anthem. And then we got these men and women that go over and fight for our country, come back, and we treat them like shit. Nobody's standing up for them.
You're right.
The long lines, in the VA or whatever. And you act like you care. Like that's what pisses me off. And again, it seems like the people who are most vocal against the players kneeling and saying, you need to support our men in the military, never been in the military.
But the question is, when the anthem comes on and they sitting at home watching the game, they stand up?
No, they don't stand up. They don't stop their conversations. They don't.
Do they even do that in the stadium? They stand in the stadium because everybody stands, but they don't stop their conversations.
Yeah.
Now,
they're still
because
at the concession
players
stands.
are kneeling, they booing while they singing the national anthem.
So you're still
disrespecting
if you say the flag or the anthem. But anyway, we went to NCAA. Let's move on.
So Obamacare subsidies have been removed by executive order because, he couldn't get Congress to do it. So he's going to force it to happen.
Did he even try to get Congress to do it? Well, I guess with the Trump care and Ryan care, all that.
Been bringing that, They tried. They couldn't.
Yeah.
And because their own people voted against it. So now he's like, okay, fine. I'm going to go around all of y'all. I'm going to sign an executive order. We going to remove the subsidies. Okay, so just so you know, if you're not on Obamacare, your insurance is about to go up about 20%. Because, see, the subsidies, you can take them out of Obamacare. All that means is the insurance company doesn't get paid. But the insurance company, by law, still has to provide the Obamacare to the people, and they still get the tax credits. By law. That's part of the law. Mm-hmm. So you remove the subsidy that he claims is illegal. Insurance companies don't get paid. Insurance companies, when they don't get paid, what do? They're going to do one thing: raise your premium, raise my premium, because I'm not covered by Obamacare. I'm not covered by a law. I'm not safe. So now everybody's insurance is about to jump up 20%. Not only that, they can also sue the federal government for taking away the subsidies, which is what I'm hoping they do. But if
I've
they
been
sue the
hearing a lot
federal
of states
government,
are suing, the federal government.
now if they sue the federal government though, then we all still get hit because that's gonna hurt us. We gotta pay it. This is crazy. So his whole idea of we're gonna fix Obamacare, he just made it worse. And Republicans are coming out saying this is the dumbest move. He just made it worse on everybody.
But the sad part is the same Republicans, or some of the same Republicans that are coming out saying what you just said, were still willing to vote for Trump care. So it's like you can't.
Yes,
you can't.
But even in voting for Trump care, it didn't throw the government itself into the mix, into the mess. It threw the people. We was gonna get hiked, but we not setting ourselves up for lawsuits. We're not setting ourselves up for getting into major trouble with these insurance companies. This is a massive mess that's just about to break loose. And then with a lot of the Trump care stuff, it was throwing stuff back on the state, each individual state. So they could say, yeah, we didn't do it, your state did it. They can't say that now. They may have been willing to vote for Trump care because it took the heat off of them. But this puts the heat right on them. So now either Congress has to say, no, dude, we going to veto exactly what you just did, which they have the power to do. They can veto his executive order and it don't mean nothing because that's where the power lies. It lies in Congress. But you got people like Ryan and McConnell who not going to do it. So this is about to be a massive mess.
What else do we expect from this administration, from this guy? It's the same shit every week, every other week.
Every week, every day.
Every day.
Harvey Weinstein.
I had never heard of this guy until this recent news about him and the sexual assault allegations. So I didn't know he was a big Hollywood exec. That's interesting.
Harvey Weinstein done lost his mind. Well, no.
I don't think he's the only.
He's not. Because see, here's the problem. One thing is some kind of memo came out from the Weinstein Company's HR department that it basically said that they would look the other way, and I've got air quotes here, look the other way if as long as he took care of his own legal costs. Any settlements had to come out of his pocket, things like that. They didn't get involved in it. But they knew about it.
Right.
He was talking to his boys about it, especially his brother.
And then if you're getting away with it or having to shell out a couple of dollars here and there, why wouldn't you brag about it? Why would you stop? Because nobody's
saying nothing to you. You doing it. Everybody knows you doing it. It's not a secret. Seth Rogen made his joke years ago. It's not a secret. Gwyneth Paltrow, when she went to Brad Pitt, he knew then that it was a problem. This is no secret. This is going on. This good old boys club has got to stop. This locker room talk. And it's not just Hollywood that is happening in. This happens in companies across America.
Right.
This happens everywhere. When you got a man in power who feels like he can do whatever he wants to do, and some women in power the same way. They can do whatever they want to do and hold your job over your head.
Yeah.
And this is the culture of this country. So while we sitting here and we yelling about it, and the Actors Guild or
Screen Actors
Guild just revoked his membership.
Right.
And people are mad. Well, y'all didn't revoke Bill Cosby's. And you know what? Everybody who got a problem with this right now needs to stand up and take a look at yourself. What part of the problem do you actually play into it? Yeah, you're not in Hollywood, but do you go to work and make your secretary feel like that? Do you go to work and make the girl next to you feel like that? Or the guy next to you feel like that? What role are you playing in it? Are you being harassed and not speaking up and not saying anything? Do you think you're the only one? No, you're not the only one. This is happening everywhere.
Right.
And if you feel it, then you need to speak up about it. And not only just speak up about it, find others who are in the same suit as you so you can go against the company and create change. This is happening everywhere. This is the culture of this country. They asked Trump about it, and the first thing he says is, well, he's guilty and he needs to seek help and da-da-da-da-da. And
who asked Trump about it?
A reporter.
Don't get me started on his ass.
And the reporter turned around and she said, but what about your comments? And he says, oh, but mine was locker room talk. And that mentality right there,
Right.
locker room talk, like it's
It's
no
not
big
locker
deal.
room talk.
I
It's the
just-
same shit.
you
You
know?
were describing what you do. It's not like you didn't say I would like to.
And this I'm a sex addict crap. You're not a sex addict. You're a predator. Period. You're not a sex addict. If you just gotta have sex,
Charlie Sheen didn't he say he was a sex addict at one point?
he's
Or-
a predator. I don't believe in that sex addict because you know what? If you just got to have the feeling of having sex, you got your right hand man. You do not need a female for that. Okay, you go over into a corner and you have yourself a good old time. They got them dolls in the Priscilla's places.
Well, you know the dolls are new. You know they
No,
got some that
they
are
got
actually
the older ones. I'm not talking
the
about
blow up dolls.
Yes, you
from-
got. Hey, you just need to come. That's all that's about.
Excuse your French.
Excuse me. Hey, I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's about. If that was the case, then you would be doing all of that. But that's not the case. The case is it makes you feel big. It makes you feel in control. It makes you feel powerful.
It's
and
about
that
power, yeah.
is being a predator. That is not a sex addiction.
Okay. Nothing I can say about that. But I saw a lot of people trying to compare the is it Harry or Harvey Weinstein?
Harvey.
The Harvey to the Bill Cosby situation, and all this it could be the same. Bill Cosby was in a position of power, but he kind of told on himself about what he does. But I feel like when it's all said and done, people are going to judge Bill Cosby much harsher than they do
Of course.
Harvey.
Of course.
And that's not
Bill Cosby
right.
still got his standing with the Screen Actors Guild. So
But that's just the one entity of it.
Yeah, and they might not care
He still,
because he
Bill
ate
Cosby
something
still
and he
ain't
ain't
gonna be
working.
and he ain't gonna be. That's exactly. He ain't gonna get his job back. He ain't gonna be on doing nobody's comedy tour. He ain't gonna be doing no type of shows. Bill Cosby about to take his blind ass somewhere and sit down.
And that's true, but it's my thing. My major thing is it's not just happening in Hollywood. This happens everywhere in America, in every corner, in almost every company. There's some guy or some girl who feels like they have the power to say and do whatever they want to say and do to another person and hold their job over their head. And we need to take away the power that they have. We need to start stripping them of that.
I agree.
Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
I remember we discussed the two of them.
The Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. Remember I said I wasn't sure where I fell on this? Now I'm really back on the Girl Scouts. Why are we trying to integrate these two groups? The Girl Scouts became a group because they could not get into the Boy Scouts. Now you allow girls into the Boy Scouts. The Girl Scouts will slowly start to fade away. So you're talking about a business entity that goes away. Okay, that's number one. Number two. And just so you know, if you haven't heard, the Boy Scouts of America are now letting girls into join. So I stand where I still stood. They need to keep these two groups separate. It's no reason to merge these two groups at this point. They are two separate entities. One makes billions in cookies and the other makes other things.
But this all stemmed from, was it like a lawsuit?
It stood from, yes, a young lady who was upset because she wanted to become a Boy Scout because her
brother was
died.
a Boy Scout.
But
Yeah,
here's
he
my
died.
thing, and I get that, and I understand that you lose a loved one, you want to find a way to honor them. And he was evidently young, so that was the only way she could honor him. And I get and I understand that. One, they could have gave her an honorary membership, and that way she wasn't really a member. But the other thing is, instead of fighting to get into the Boy Scouts, why not fight for the Girl Scouts to be taken
just as
as
big,
seriously as the Boy Scouts are? They got this big, huge Eagle Scout thing that boys do. Well, Girl Scouts have the same thing. And the bad thing about it is I'm one, and I don't even know what the name of it is. A cadet, a camarada, or something like that. It started with a C. That's all I remember. But
I feel like you're not really a member.
That's my point. Because you get no clout from it.
Uh-huh.
After you hit a certain age in Girl Scouts, if you still go, you become this. And I mean, there's no big, huge.
Sounds like no talk about it.
Well, that's just it. There's no talk about it. There's no ceremony. There's nothing. Boy Scouts, they have a big ceremony. Their mothers come and they put this pin on them and da-da-da-da-da. Girl Scouts, it's none of that. Start treating the Girl Scouts just as importantly as you would treat the Boy Scouts. That's what I would have fought for, number one. But with all that being said, my opinion don't matter because the Girl Scouts of America are pissed. So the lady said that this is what the representative of the Girl Scouts of America told her. She said the Boy Scouts house is on fire Instead of addressing systematic issues of continuing sexual assault, financial mismanagement, and deficient programming, the Boy Scouts of America senior management wants to add an accelerant to the house of fire by recruiting girls. And that's when it started hitting me, and I started remembering all the stories of sexual assault with Boy Scouts and they camp leaders and these little boys. Now you're getting ready to add little girls into that. And she's right. I mean, this is a mix of madness.
I wish we would have had the a statement from the Girl Scouts when this lawsuit was out there. Not saying that there wasn't.
Right.
I'm just saying
Instead
I
of
wish
waiting.
you and I would have known
about it. Now, I wish I'd have even remembered all of the stories that I had heard about the misconduct in the Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts have been as bad as the priest.
We did. Well, I didn't know that, but we did bring up the potential issue of having Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts mixed together, as one.
Well,
are they just going to be the Scouts?
No, there won't be.
It's still the Boy
two
Scouts.
Different entities, the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. So if you want that clout, you're going to go for the Boy Scouts because you want to be an Eagle
Which
Scout.
is going to make the Girl Scouts die out.
Right, the Girl Scouts die out. And the lady said, and if they take my cookie drive, I'm and it's like, right, what's getting ready to happen here? Do you just blend them all together and become the Scouts? But then she's right. Adding girls to that mix, because the Boy Scouts have been having problems for a while. You don't hear these problems from the Girl Scouts. Now, that don't mean they're not happening.
Do you think
we just don't know about it?
You think it has something to do with maybe a gender identity situation? Maybe allowing girls to be join the Boy Scouts because they identify as men or boys?
That's not been mentioned.
Okay.
Everything has been really surrounding this little girl who wanted to honor her brother.
Right.
So, but that is a possibility. It is a possibility.
Interesting.
So just you mothers out there, just know when you send your kids to Scouts. So now we're going to go to the political end of things because we've pretty much steered her clear. His name's come up, but
yeah,
Bob Corker took his name to a new level. I didn't know who Bob Corker was until just last week.
And who is he?
Bob Corker is a Republican senator out of Tennessee, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And so in August, he criticized the way Trump was handling the white supremacist rally in
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville. I'm sorry. Charlottesville. Let me put that on there. He said the president has not yet been able to demonstrate the stability nor some of the competence that he needs to demonstrate in order to be successful. He said that back in August. Well, after Rex Tillerson said that he was
a moron.
No. Not the moron comment. But he said he was kind of finding a way to negotiate with little man, Kim Jong-un.
North Korea?
Yes. He, you remember when Trump came out and he made his statement, it ain't no negotiating, it's a waste of time.
Uh-huh.
Well, after that, Corker started having problems. And he was referring to the Secretary of State, the Defense Secretary, Jim Mattis, and the White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly. And he's basically saying those people are what helps separate this country right now from chaos. Those three generals.
Right.
Well, of course that didn't make Trump happy. And he said that Corker begged him to endorse him in Tennessee, and he said no, and that's why Corker's not running again, and he's dropping out. And if you notice, these Republicans that basically are not running again, or either in like McCain's position, it don't matter.
Right.
I might be here, I might not. They saying what they need to say, and so they're the ones that's speaking out. And it's funny because nobody's saying anything against them. None of the Republicans are backing Trump. They're just not saying.
They're not
nothing.
saying anything, and that's a problem to me.
That's a big problem. But he comes out. He's saying that Corker wanted to be Secretary of State, and he said no thanks. He was also behind the Iran deal, and it was horrible. He's just
talking shit.
Trump being Trump.
Yeah.
And he's just tweeting one night like he always does, having this little temper tantrum. Next day, Corker says, or tweets, "It's a shame the White House has become an adult daycare center. Someone obviously missed their shifts this morning."
That was hilarious.
I'm like, okay. And so then, he goes on to basically tell Trump, you cannot publicly castrate your own Secretary of State without giving yourself the binary choice. We could be heading towards World War III with the kind of comments that he's making.
Right.
And he's right. So these two now are feuding, but Corker and
Tillerson.
McBain.
Who was that?
Senator, ain't that his name?
McCain.
I'm like, something ain't right. I know I said the right thing. McCain. McBain. He's a villain out of Batman. Anyway, and his name is Bane, not McBain. But anyway, back to my point.
Yeah.
So McCain, Tillerson, or Corker and McCain right now are speaking up and against him. The female senator, dang it, I just got her name. She's the one of the female Republicans that has voted against Trump care every time. I have to get her name and give it to you so you can put it up with the show.
That ain't gonna happen either.
But she refused to run for Senate for governor, because she wants to stay in the Senate and make sure the right things are being done. So you got a handful of Republicans that are saying, no, this ain't right. And that's partially why they can't get nothing passed, because they sitting here going, nah, we just can't go with the status quo. This ain't right.
But more of them know that it's not right and don't care.
There you go.
You don't care about your constituents. You don't care about the American people, period. You're just out for your own agenda, and you're just allowing this man to constantly make America look bad, even though he says make America great again. You're making us look like fools with you at the helm.
The biggest thing is...
And everybody knows it.
The biggest thing is that now with what he's doing, if it says Obama, he's trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. And everybody knows that,
everybody knows that. But what's really bad about it is Obama as president signed things into law. They became law. And now this president is coming in and he is destroying every agreement and every deal that Obama made. So what it does now is it looks to the rest of the world like we cannot depend on the United States to do what they're going to say they're going to do after that president has left. So why should we go into any kind of deal with America? Because in 4 years or 8 years, they're going to turn over power to someone else, and that deal may not stand anymore.
Right.
So we're starting to look stupid.
Yes. We were looking stupid on November the 8th.
Okay, I agree.
2016. I
agree. But, I mean, really now we're not being dependable. They pulled out a UNISEC, I believe it is. UNSCC. It's the United Nations something and cultural. Basically, it's a group brought together just to share your culture with the world and with other countries.
What was the reason for pulling out? just because we ain't got time. It's like he's doing.
Kidding me?
And again, I go back to when we were having this discussion way before the election, based on everything 45 was doing. It's like he seems like he's doing all the wrong things so that to make sure he's not president, and we still falling for it. Some of the American people are still falling for it, and he's still doing all the wrong things, and somehow people are still finding a way to support him no matter what,
and
whether it's against their own interests as well.
Her name was Senator Susan Collins of Maine. She's the Republican who won't run for governor just so she can stay in the White House and make sure things stay right.
Right on.
Don't get out of hand. So I'm giving props to that Republican right there. You never hear me give props to a Republican, right?
Well, McCain has stepped up a little bit too.
Well, yeah, McCain has stepped up, and now Corker is stepping up and saying, "Hey, this man is a fool." And I mean, but when he called it an adult daycare, since somebody missed their shift, like, oh. Okay. So, lastly, Lamont McIntyre. For those of you who don't live in this area, you may not have heard this story, but he was wrongly imprisoned 23 years ago at the age of 17 for a double murder. In just 2 days, instead of 1 week, they expected his retrial or his appeal to go on for a week or so. In 2 days, the DA said, no, we can't do this. We're not going no further. And they set him free. After 23 years, they went on and let him go.
Like what cleared him? Was it DNA evidence or? And if you don't know, that's fine.
No, I know.
Okay.
His entire case was based off of no evidence, no gun, no murder. No motive. Nothing tied him to the crime. He didn't know the victims. The victims didn't know him. He had alibis that said he wasn't there. But the police forced a woman to testify against him and say she saw him there. The woman was coerced and forced, and she tried to change her story, and they wouldn't let her.
So we knew this before he was convicted, or how many years afterwards? Do we know?
I don't know who all knew this before, but this is the stuff that started to come out, in which made the DA just say, "Stop, we can't go no further," and set this man free. So
23 years of his life because somebody decided to, I guess, target him for something.
Within hours, they found a witness to give a vague account of what happened, and they forced her to do it and what the killer looked like somewhat. And like I said, they forced her to do it. But
who was prosecuting? Go ahead.
The only witness against him was a neighborhood woman who was a relative of one of the victims. And she, again, like I said, recanted her testimony and said she lied when she identified him. And she was coerced by the lead detective to lie. The lead detective became a captain in the police force in 2010. He had relations with the DA, I believe it was, who prosecuted the case. And now the DA works for the Kansas State DA.
It sounds like corruption.
It's corruption.
Out the wazoo.
It's dirty. It's all kind of stuff going on with this.
Recently, there was like a DA or a detective or a chief in either Kansas or Missouri that he was found out, and all his cases are now being called into question. I'm wondering if this has anything to do with this guy.
It could. This guy's name is Roger Golubski.
You got a photo?
No, yeah, on the internet.
Oh, I thought you were looking at one possibly. Okay,
Roger Golubski or something like that. But he, the court in the DA's office, they're not saying that any of that's true. They're not agreeing to any of that. They're just saying that the evidence came out so strongly, so fast, that they have to make sure that they have the right people in jail, just like they have to put people in jail. They got to make sure they're the right people. So they went on and they let this man free.
After 23 years, though. Like, was he being denied an appeal? Like, did this lady just come? This is what doesn't make any sense to me.
They've been working on this for
half this man's
for at
life.
least 8 years. There's a legal team of people who are taking these cases pro bono, and they worked hard. They've been working hard for 8 years for this trial. And once they started this trial, they just knew they were going to be in there fighting this, and DA pulled out fast. So that to me says that
they probably had
knew
a lot
they didn't
more.
Have a case.
Yeah, and they probably had a lot
knew
more.
The stuff that was about to come out against the state.
Right.
They probably thinking we better stop and investigate this stuff and get this so the news don't get a hold of all this. Because it's corruption.
And of course, he was a black man.
Yes, he was a black man that was jailed, and it was a white man that put him there.
23 years.
And he was 17 when he went in, so he spent the majority of his life behind bars for 2 murders he did not commit. My thing is, at this point, I'm glad to see him out. I hope to God he doesn't go back in.
You know, it's hard, though, after all that time being inside, having to
everything
assimilate back to regular life. You don't know nothing what's going on. That's a lot has changed in 23 years.
Yeah, that's all he knows is in there. And that might be his safe spot. You know, after he, tries to assimilate back, he might find he can't do it. No, he been having I'm sure he's had to fight in there and all kind of other stuff.
Yeah. I believe prison, jail changes you.
I pray for this man. I really do. But thank God, a black man freed.
Yeah. But this is one of the things.
And women who did it. So I don't want to put them
the
down.
Fact
it was
that
white
it's so
men and women
easy,
that made sure he
got
out.
It's so easy to put black people in jail and get white people to put them there,
right?
With little to no evidence, just maybe hearsay or whatever.
And that's it. I mean, there was no evidence, no motive, no gun, no nothing.
We're hearing one of these stories like once every other month, where a black man is freed because they've been in jail for 30 years, 20 years, and it's ridiculous. I'm hoping that culture stops, that tradition stops. because you know what? It don't even matter. This is America 2017, and we're still dealing with people hanging nooses, and we're still dealing with people being racist. We're still dealing with the same old shit.
And we still dealing with firsts.
Yep.
Well, that's it. But hey, you know what we dealing with? The Girl Scouts is hot. This Boy Scout and Girl Scout thing, it's only gonna get worse.
You think so?
This the Duke out I'm looking for. This is what I'm gonna watch the news for now. Because she came out hard. I was like, dang, okay. I didn't even expect it. I expected
maybe a statement.
There to be a statement. I expected the Girl Scouts to say something, but I wasn't expecting that. I mean, she didn't hit him nice. She hit him in the pocket where it counts.
Right on.
Like, hey.
But you got to tell the truth. Shame the devil.
She sure did. She shamed all them devils over there. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for listening. Good night.
Peace.